Taking a live look at Juneteenth celebrations in North Las Vegas, the federal holiday commemorates the ending of slavery in the U.S. Welcome to the Faith is hosting the event happening at Craig Ranch Park, featuring live music, food, special performances. And it's not too late to check out all the fun. The event runs until 8:30 tonight. And as the country recognizes Juneteenth, some celebrations are being scaled back or canceled.
Communities across the country are canceling or reducing their celebrations because of federal rollbacks on DEI practices and opposition to events celebrating diversity. In West Virginia, Republican Governor Patrick Morrisey says that the state employees will not have a paid day off for the federal holiday, citing financial reasons. In a statement, the American Civil Liberties Union of West Virginia says that Morrisey's decision is, quote, just another opportunity to show how little he understands or cares about racism.
Sometimes it is 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, but then you continue the struggle. You continue fighting for history, fighting for rights, fighting for justice for everybody.
While eliminating a federal holiday would require an act of Congress, experts warn diluting the holiday's celebration is cause for concern because the meaning, the history, and significance behind Juneteenth could be lost.